Welcome to the Friday Five with Steve Greenfield on CBT News.
Welcome to this week's Friday Five. This is Steve Greenfield from Automotive Ventures, and thanks for joining us. First up, I'm excited to announce that my new book, The Future of Automotive Retail, has finally been published. The book is my attempt to provide the industry with a framework for the various threats and opportunities that are swirling, and offer some practical advice on how best to navigate the next 5 to 10 years. In the book, I make the argument that our industry is going to see more change in the next 10 years than it's experienced in the past 100. You can find the new book on Amazon or just go to futureofautomotiveretail.com. If you get a chance to read it, drop me a line and let me know what you think. Earlier this week, I posted an article to LinkedIn regarding Carvana that elicited a lot of comments and reposts, so I thought I would spend a little time today discussing developments and implications. In the article from the AIM Group, it was reported that Carvana's initiative, posting inventory from other dealers on its retail site, seems to be getting traction. As we've discussed a number of times here on the Friday Five, Carvana has been experimenting for a couple of years now with listing cars physically located on other dealerships' lots that they don't own themselves. They've called this marketplace inventory. Marketplace inventory grew slowly from less than 1% of the total cars available for retail purchase at Carvana in the second quarter of 2020 to just over 4% at the end of last year. Well, they seem to be finally getting some traction. According to the AIM Group article, listings from non-Carvana dealers now account for more than 13% of all the cars made available to retail on Carvana.com in the second quarter of 2022. As Carvana convinces more dealers to list their vehicles on Carvana, we're witnessing an evolution of their business model from being an online seller of used cars into more of a listing marketplace. In parallel, I expect that we'll start to see more rental cars start to show up soon on Carvana.com, which I suspect is part of their strategy behind acquiring the 56 ADESA physical auction locations earlier this year. Going forward, Carvana will be able to give vehicle sellers, be they dealers or commercial sellers, the option of achieving retail prices if they're willing to sell the vehicles on Carvana.com. I'll continue to keep my eyes out for new developments as Carvana evolves the business model into more of a marketplace, and I'll be sure to report back here on the Friday Five as further developments emerge. If you have specific thoughts in this area, please shoot me a note. I'd love to discuss with you. Also this week, AutoNation agreed to buy CIG Financial, an auto finance company based in Irvine, California, for $85 million and an assumption of certain liabilities, a portion of which will be repaid at closing. AutoNation expects to close the transaction within 90 days. CEO Mike Manley had signaled to Wall Street that AutoNation was in the hunt for a captive finance company and would strike soon. And he was good to his word. Owning a captive finance company seems to be a popular theme for the public groups. CarMax has their own with CarMax Auto Finance. Lithia has their own with Driveway Finance Corp. In February this year, Vroom completed their acquisition of United Auto Credit Corporation. And many of the other publics have communicated their interest in either acquiring or launching their own captive in-house. Roger Penske has said on an earnings call that they may consider the same. Asbury Automotive Group closed on finance and insurance product provider Total Care Auto in December, but does not yet have a captive finance company. Digital player Shift has also said that they may potentially launch a captive finance company before the end of the year. So why all the interest from these industry players in launching or acquiring their own captive finance companies? It's really to help with their non-prime used car businesses. Dealership captive finance companies can help dealers fund loans to mid-prime and subprime customers on used cars. It would be too difficult to compete against large banks and credit unions on rates for low-risk prime borrowers, and subprime borrowers are largely priced out of the new vehicle market. Controlling their own destiny when it comes to financing used vehicles should deliver a higher approval rate for customers and more profit per car, as long as the risk is managed appropriately. The acquisition of CIG Financial brings 160 new employees to AutoNation, who currently employs 22,200 full and part-time workers. In business 38 years, CIG Financial specializes in auto lending and personalized transportation services. CIG originated about $195 million worth of loans last year, or about 12,000 total. They have an existing large network of primarily independent dealerships. This week's news will likely dislodge and accelerate other public dealer discussions about acquiring their own captive finance companies. We'll keep an eye on this trend and report back. So with that, let's transition to our companies to watch. Every week we highlight interesting companies in the automotive technology space to keep an eye on. If you have a chance to read my monthly industry intel report, I showcase a few companies each month, and we take the opportunity here on the Friday 5 to share some of those companies each week with you. Today, our company to watch is Electric Era. Electric Era engineers the world's most advanced storage systems for EV fast charging stations. They were founded to make EV fast charging ubiquitous and affordable. Their power-dense storage system and load prediction platform supports a smarter and faster charging experience. The reason that I love Electric Era is because power and distribution capacity constraints make it challenging to provide a cost-effective and quality experience around vehicle charging. And this problem will only grow with more EVs coming and demands on the grid. Electric Era has engineered their storage solution for EV fast charging as an intelligent system for managing peak loads. The system adaptively predicts load, monitors utility tariffs, and manages load to create the optimal and most economical charging station experience. Power Node, as the product's called, acts as their energy buffer for your charging station power consumption. It quickly discharges to support increased charging demand and lowers your consumption from the grid, providing continuously operational on-site storage. That means a higher level of charging sessions per day at a lower cost. You can check out Electric Era at electriceratechnologies.com. So that's your weekly Friday 5. If you're an auto tech entrepreneur working on a solution that helps car dealerships, we want to hear from you. We are actively investing out of our new dealer fund. If you're a dealer who wants to invest in early-stage auto tech companies that benefit your business, let me know. We are still accepting new investors into the fund. And, I love being able to say this, don't forget to check out my new book on Amazon.com. Thank you for tuning in to CBT News for this week's Friday 5, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks for joining us for another edition of the Friday 5.